When Ethan divorced me, he even took back the engagement ring. Yet only a few days after I signed the papers, he called, "Babe, I was in a car crash." I was baffled. "Sterling, did you dial the wrong number? You're the only babe in my phone. Who else would I call?" 1. On the third day after our divorce, Ethan phoned out of the blue and called me babe. But ours had always been a corporate marriage. He'd always used my given name. And always in a voice as cold as ice. This time the baritone carried a thread of something like flirtation. "Sterling, what can I do for you?" I asked, wary. "Why so formal? Did you think I'd vanished because you hadn't seen me for a couple of days?" He sniffed between sentences, sounding genuinely hurt. I flinched, double-checked the screen. Yes, the contact read Ethan. "Sterling, your whereabouts are your private affair. I have no right to pry." My hand tightened around the phone, my palm was slick. "Babe, don't be sarcastic. I really got hurt. Ask the doctor if you don't believe me." Right on cue another man spoke. "Sterling, I'm your husband's attending physician. He crashed the day before yesterday. He regained consciousness only this morning. The trauma damaged part of his brain, so he's suffering selective amnesia. He hasn't seen any family, so I asked him to find relatives in his contacts. After scrolling through, it appears you're his only listed family member." "Doctor, are you certain?" I cut in. Ethan had filed for divorce. He'd signed the agreement. There was no way I'd suddenly become his next of kin. Sterling, yes. Sterling labeled only one contact, babe. I nearly dropped the handset. He had me down as babe. Before I could decide whether this was real life or a fever dream, Ethan's voice returned. "Babe, don't tell me you're dumping me." I checked. Every missed call is from Charles or Rowan, none from you. "Haven't you missed me at all?" Rowan had to be Ethan's long-rumored old flame Sophie. Maybe this was how he used to talk to her, so warm. While with me he'd always worn an icy mask. His parting words at the divorce echoed inside my skull. "After you sign, we never met. To the world we're strangers." If I showed up at the hospital the paparazzi would swarm, and once his memories returned he'd probably sneer at me for entertaining hope. "Sterling, legally we were nothing more than a joint venture. Memory loss is understandable, but our contract with Sterling ended last week. To be precise, we're nothing to each other now. Babe. My name is Vivian. Google me, my marital status reads single. Call your assistant, he'll fill you in." I kept my tone politely brisk. After all, the secret marriage had been Ethan's idea, even his own executive assistant hadn't known. "Then tell me why I saved you as babe," he insisted. "No idea. Perhaps you're a secret fan with a crush. Or, you harbored certain unrealistic fantasies about me." I was secretly enjoying myself. When he regained his memory he'd probably choke on the humiliation. Just as I was about to hang up, he blurted, "Me, Lane." "Yes." My heart hammered. For the first time since our contract wedding I'd managed to fluster him. "Sorry to bother you," he muttered. "But hearing your voice makes me happy. Maybe you're right, maybe I already liked you before I forgot. May I court you?" The syllables detonated like lightning, yanking me back to the day I debuted when I'd provided Mandarin dubbing for Sophie's first music video. 2. I clearly remembered that weeks before Sophie's album dropped, Ethan already had her lead single on repeat in his car. I also remembered a family dinner. He whispered to his cousin, "Her voice sounds just like hers." The joy I'd misread had only been him savoring an echo of another woman through me. A man who can't respect himself is day-old lettuce. And sweetheart, I hate wilted salad. I cut the call before he could answer and blocked his number for good measure. In a foul mood I logged into my alt account and headed for my happy place, the Twitter page of the web cartoonist Slowball Meow Meow, famous for a serialized cat and dog love story. The aloof giant dog is clingy only with Babe, the warm-hearted cat is slow to trust, saving her sincerity for him alone. Updates crawl, yet every panel hits my aesthetic bullseye. I spam madcap comments. He used to read without replying, then occasionally tossed me an emoji. Last week an update was due, but nothing came. My DMs stayed unanswered. Commenters began to worry something had happened. My already crappy mood flatlined. I scrolled old chapters aimlessly until a push alert screamed, "Slowball meow meow just posted." I rocketed to the page. A single, hurried sketch, dog only, no cat. The canine sits outside a shut door, a tear dangling from one eye. Caption: "Can't find my way home, she didn't come looking." Within minutes the thread hit 99 plus replies. Did doggy fight with kitty? Make up, I need closure tonight. I must have murdered someone in my past life to deserve this cliffhanger. Author, got buffer chapters. This hurts. I couldn't resist. Welcome back. Boss, why's this panel shorter than my ex? He answered instantly, I'm not short. Replies exploded. Plot twist. Maybe OP is the ex. Doghead emoji. Wait, I thought you were his babe. My cheeks burned. My pulse stuttered. I fumbled with the keypad. I surrender. Check my diamond fan badge. He shot back again. Then how about a diamond ring as a reward? The thread went nuclear. OMG, is this canon? Witnessing a proposal in real time. Shock. Say yes, louder. In the past he'd only ever liked my posts. Now he was flirting. My inbox was flooded, some demanding to know if I modeled for Kitty. Just then the doorbell rang, my assistant reminding me I was due on set. I had exactly one scene today, a kiss. Normally no big deal, but I was rattled. I blew take after take. The director fumed. Easy, no rush, Felix soothed. I nodded, calmer. At last, under his guidance, I found the emotion. The instant cut sounded. I opened my eyes and saw Ethan. He sat in a wheelchair, face ashen, eyes rimmed red. He'd bankrolled the drama yet never visited until now. The usually swaggering director went meek. Sterling, what brings you? Ethan's gaze locked on me, voice hoarse. I came for Lane. Everyone stared, slack-jawed. Only I knew, payback time. Could we talk privately? Ethan tilted his head. Envy thickened the air. I exhaled. All right. I took the handles from Charles and wheeled Ethan toward my car. Felix shadowed us. Viv, I'm coming. Worry flickered in his eyes. Viv. Ethan bristled, nearly saying my babe. I silenced him with a glare. He pressed his lips together, sulking. Felix piled on. We debuted together, very tight. Even kiss scenes flow naturally. He feigned concern, though the smirk twitched at his mouth. Today Viv was off her game. We needed 5 takes on the kiss. Ethan stewed in sullen silence. Felix pressed. You and Viv are close? She's never mentioned you. Ethan cut in before I could speak. There's nothing between us now. Then why show up, Sterling? Felix's eyes iced over. Just proving I'm not short, Ethan said over his shoulder, and delivering her diamond ring. 3. Felix's face darkened. Ethan's grin widened. Talking about my hair, of course, mind out of the gutter. Felix tripped over his own foot, almost face-planting. Chuckling, Ethan stood long enough to shove the wheelchair toward him. Looks like you need this more than I do. Felix abandoned even fake courtesy. I hustled Ethan into the car. You're Slowball meow meow? He nodded. Slowball meow meow, Ethan holding his kitty Vivian. I almost slapped him. Surgery or not, he was pushing it. How did you find my alt? Did you cyberstalk me, or have you been faking amnesia this whole time? My hands shook. That web cartoon meant something to me. Babe, no, all humor vanished. He thrust his phone at me. I found my memo file, everything about you. That sketch came from there. I skimmed, half disbelieving. The latest note, dated a week ago, her alt followed the Viv and Felix fanpage hashtag, they must be real. One line, yet it throbbed like a bruise. The truth, we're just a PR ship. I checked the hashtag so the show wouldn't flop before airing. I kept scrolling. The next note was from 6 months ago. She leaves me paragraphs on my alt account every day, but when she sees me in person she won't say a single word. She smiles at everyone else, but she never looks at me. I rubbed my temples. The whole thing reeked of wounded pride. Below that were scenes I'd lived through, yet the Ethan I remembered, cool, sparing with words, was a totally different person in these memos. June 5th. Vivian asked in the comments if I'd draw a cat and dog kiss pic at 200k followers. I sketched a dozen drafts and hated every one. Maybe because Vivian's never kissed me. I refused to use her on-screen kisses as reference. Frustrated. May 20th. The day we picked up our marriage license. Her smile was so forced I couldn't even fake a grin. I wanted to hold her, but she kept distance like it was protocol. Tragic. April 14th. My cousin borrowed the car and didn't mention he was picking up his girlfriend inside the back seat, and now I have to drive Vivian. Hope she doesn't notice anything. March 16th. Family banquet, finally, I get to see Vivian. Cuzzy waved his girlfriend's album at me, asking if it's any good. Help, it's an unlistenable noise. Still, I had to be polite, so I claimed the vocals reminded me of Vivian. But Vivian's voice is the real deal. Tonight I hear my Vivian speak, and mortal music sounds divine. My finger froze. So the voice, I thought was Sophie's, was actually mine. And Sophie is Ethan's cousin's girlfriend, not his old flame. See, babe, I wasn't lying. Warm breath brushed my collar as Ethan buried his head against my shoulder. I jolted and shoved him off. Ethan, we're divorced. A faint pink rimmed his eyes, a mist of unshed tears. Besides, I softened in spite of myself. It was a contract marriage for the benefit of our companies. You filed for divorce, and you took back the ring. But according to these notes, I'd never file for divorce, he said, meeting my gaze through glittering tears. Unless you'd fallen for someone else. Then I'd let you go. Felix and I are just business partners, a fake couple for PR. Nothing more. The words rushed out before I caught myself. Ethan laughed. My flustered face stared back at me in his pupils. I didn't even mention Felix. You're afraid I'd misunderstand. Vivian still cares, right? I don't. My protest felt limp. My thumb slipped to an entry. Vivian loves to sleep hugging me, her leg thrown over mine. I flung the phone at him. We never slept together, never even lived together. How could this be? Those are delusions. Ice crawled up my spine. I shrank toward the corner of the seat. That's not how Vivian is, Ethan stammered, lunging awkwardly. A flash of light cut through the tinted glass. The door swung open. Dozens of paparazzi lenses waited outside. Dizzy, I felt something hot and damp swipe across my cheek. When my eyes refocused, Ethan was gone. A huge German shepherd straddled me. It had kicked free of its suit jacket and was now wearing cartoon dog and cat boxers, a fluffy tail threading through the fly, wagging like a banner. High school memories rushed back. I'd once adopted a German shepherd and loved cuddling it to sleep. And the big dog in Slowball Meow Meow's comics. Also a German shepherd. 4 cameras multiplied outside. At the door stood the drama's other female lead, Zoe Shu. Disappointment flickered across her face, probably because she hadn't caught Ethan and me in a compromising shot. The magazine's interviewing me today, she chirped. I saw you were on break and thought we could do a joint spread. Hope you don't mind my dropping by unannounced. Lenses crowded in. Before Ethan could process his new canine form, he slathered my cheek in eager licks. My makeup. I pushed him away and hissed, one more step and I'll have you neutered. Smiling for the cameras, I smoothed my dress and hair with invisible gestures. Ethan whined, shot me a wounded look, and curled in the footwell, studying his unfamiliar paws. Is this your dog, Vivian? So cute. A reporter reached to pet him. He hesitated, glancing at me for permission. When I stayed silent, he reluctantly presented his head, eyes pitiful as if some stranger were taking liberties with his virtue. I'd never heard you kept pets. He's so well behaved, and you're so busy. Do you bring him to set? Small talk mutated into an interview. Not before. Travel kept us apart, but the vet said. Pillow suffers from separation anxiety. I felt awful. So this shoot is coming along. I hoped the lie sounded sincere. Pillow had been my name for the shepherd I adopted years ago. Woof. Ethan approved, tail thumping. You're such a devoted fur parent. The bond's obvious, the reporter cooed, ruffling his ears again. As cameras rolled, I projected calm, though my mind reeled. The German shepherd I'd adopted had been timid, ears pinned, tail low. Gradually he'd opened up, greeting me after school with helicopter tail wagging. I'd crouch, rub his belly, and he'd lick my face. Wait, if Ethan is Pillow, then we'd kissed before? The horrifying realization slammed to a halt when something warm nudged my ankle. Ethan had scooted over and was rubbing his furry head against my foot, grinning doggishly. What products keep you photo-ready after canine kisses? The reporter exclaimed. Our segment today is Starproof Longwear Makeup Secrets. Beside us, Zoe sulked. She'd hoped to watch me melt down, not land free press. I have sensitive skin, and Pillow loves licking my face, I ad-libbed, so my products have to be hypoallergenic and transfer-proof. Visions of teenage Pillow filled my head, how he'd wait at the door, how I'd scratch his stomach until he dozed, tongue lolling. I discreetly kicked Ethan. N.A. Beauty's whole line, I added sweetly. Zoe's scowl deepened. N.A. Beauty is my brand, direct rival to her Wanderer contract. I fished out my compact, let the crew zoom in, and twisted the knife. Your powder's creasing, Zoe, want to try? Fire shot from her eyes, but she managed a brittle no, thanks. When the shoot wrapped, Zoe and her agent scurried off like roaches under sudden light. Vivian, you were amazing, my assistant whispered once the set cleared. I thought I'd messed everything up. Your mom collapsed and's in the hospital, of course you left. Go be with her, take the week. She beamed. But how did you know Zoe would ambush you? And why did Sterling's CEO want to see you? I blinked. She really thought I'd orchestrated this. About time someone clipped Zoe's wings, she added, spotting Ethan. When did you get a dog? I didn't see him at your condo. He stayed with my parents till lately. His cartoon boxers are adorable, men's brief cut and everything. She snapped the elastic. Ethan yelped as though being abducted. My ninny's a German shepherd, too. Want to set up a playdate, or puppies? Ethan barked in alarm, backing between my legs. Pillow's neutered, I said smoothly. We can't make Ninny a widow. He barked louder, rolling in protest. Why's he so upset? She asked. Painful memories, I said. Embarrassed. 5. Now Ethan had amnesia and a shape-shifting crisis. Until he reverted, my place was the only safe hideout. I texted Charles from his phone, head home. Business handled. My own phone buzzed, an unsaved number I knew by heart. Nothing good ever followed that ringtone. Hundreds of calls, now you pick up. Big girl now, are we? Lydia's voice could etch glass. If I hadn't adopted you from that orphanage, you'd still be eating scraps in some gutter. I held the phone away. Get to the point. I've heard that speech. She is my mother in name only, the woman who adopted me. But the Lane family took me in only because my birth chart was a perfect match for their daughter Valerie's. The feng shui master swore the symmetry would let me absorb her bad luck and keep her safe for life. At the same time, I became a trading chip for every Lane family deal. My marriage to Ethan, for instance, pushed me forward, pocket the benefit for Lane, while the real Lane daughter stays spotless on the sidelines. That is why, deep down, I have always resisted getting close to Ethan. The Sterlings say Ethan wants a divorce. Is that true? I glanced at Ethan, who was sprawled at my feet, and answered, it's true. Before the last syllable left my mouth, a tidal wave of curses crashed through the phone. Are you out of your mind? The two families just launched a joint venture, and you pull this? We raised you for years, raise a dog and it learns loyalty. You. Born contrarian. Maybe you're the karmic retribution the Lanes deserve. Finished. I fought to keep my voice level. The divorce papers came from Ethan, not me. If you want to throw a tantrum, Call the Sterling Manor. The voice on the other end snapped off as if someone had yanked the cord. Then a lower, calmer baritone replaced it. My adoptive father, Victor. Little Vivian, your mother's only worried. You haven't been home in ages. Valerie will be here tonight. Let's have dinner as a family. The driver is already on his way to the set. Victor's tone left no room for refusal. He rarely wastes words, he finds action faster than persuasion. He won't coax, he simply names the price of defiance. The line went dead. The beeps droned on, he hadn't waited for an answer. In his mind, it was notification, not invitation. The closer the car rolled toward the Lane estate, the more restless Ethan became. I parked, turned, and saw the couple in the next car locked in a hungry kiss. Valerie and her husband Lucas, the source of every nightmare I own. Once, I believed Lucas was the first person who truly saw me. I had told Lydia I wanted to take the acting school audition. She beat me until I curled on the rug like a shrimp. Eyes squeezed shut, I tried to vanish, until exhaustion dragged me into sleep. When I woke, my wounds were cleaned and bandaged, the house silent except for pillows stretched beside me. The staff were long past intervening, indifferent glances sliced over me like box cutters. When I learned Lucas had visited that afternoon, I was sure he had been the one to help. I gathered courage, spoke to him, and we grew familiar until the illusion cracked. He was Lane stock, after all, I was only a tool. I clung to the memory of kindness and said yes to every favor. One scorching noon I stood in line for the cake he craved. I returned to hear laughter leaking from Valerie's room. She actually bought it for you? Well, you wanted it. But the best part was watching her sweat face lobster red, pit stains everywhere. Hilarious. I watched Valerie convulse with giggles and felt my heart frost over. I had thought I was about to have my first friend. The cruelty didn't end there. I'd earned admission to the conservatory, and Lucas had been accepted into its directing program. Valerie, rejected, panicked. She had Victor alter my college application so I'd never leave her shadow. Disgusted, I looked away only to meet them again the moment I stepped out of the car. Valerie linked her arm through Lucas's, syrup in her voice. Vivian, I heard Ethan's divorcing you. Worry disguised as glee. What unsettled me more was Lucas's naked once-over. If you need anything, just ask. Before I could answer, Ethan lunged, barking. Valerie shrieked and ducked behind Lucas. I knelt, smoothing Ethan's hackles. Don't join their chorus, boy. Their barking's ugly, keep your voice pretty. The smugness on their faces curdled into fury. Vivian. What? Competing in a barking contest? I flashed a smile. Valerie sputtered, speechless, eyes bulging. Victor and Lydia were already seated when we walked in. Lydia paled at the sight of Ethan in German Shepherd form. That dog, how is it here? Back then Victor's warning glare chopped her sentence in half. She clapped a hand over her mouth. My heart slammed. When Pillow vanished years ago, the housekeeper claimed he'd run away. Lydia's slip said otherwise. A lost dog that finds its way home proves loyalty, Victor murmured. Some pets we raised for years still bite the hand that feeds. He flicked his gaze to me and finally spat, sit. I'm not here for nostalgia, and I skipped dinner for the role. Say what you want, otherwise I've got scripts waiting. I kept my arms folded, on my feet. Our joint venture with Sterling just launched and you're divorcing, do you grasp how much that costs us? Victor drummed the table. Word is Ethan will cite Lane incompetence to kill the deal. You know Lane needs this lifeline. If Lane looks weak, check your own leadership. And why should I care whether the company lives or dies? I sneered. Vivian, have you no conscience? Lydia snatched a goblet and hurled it. I tilted my head, crystal exploded against the wall. Remember, you carry the Lane name. Victor slid an envelope across the table. If you'd rather these photos not hit the press, apologize to Ethan tonight. I opened the flap, Shots of me trapped between drunken clients at a corporate dinner Lydia dragged me to. I'd escaped before anything happened, but the images were real, grainy proof of proof. With my new series filming, a rumor bomb could get me recast overnight. Shameless. You told me it was an audition, then tossed me to your buyers, and you kept souvenirs to blackmail me. My fists shook around the envelope. I knew the stray might bite, so I kept the leash ready. Victor's smile was razor thin. By the day after tomorrow, Sterling must reopen the deal. Relax, Vivian, Valerie sang as she breezed in. Ethan may not want you now, but flirting is your oldest skill. The task shouldn't be hard. The presence of Ethan, fur, teeth, and loyalty made their disdain cut deeper than ever. Barking like gunfire, Ethan vaulted and sank his teeth into Valerie's calf. Everyone froze a heartbeat. Lucas seized a vase and swung. I yanked Ethan clear. Porcelain detonated across the rug, shards flying. I hugged Ethan to my chest, felt slivers slice my forearms, blood blooming. Valerie crumpled in a dead faint. Maid screamed and scrambled. Sweetheart. Lydia wailed. Kill that mutt now. Victor roared, finger stabbing at us. Touch him and I'll drop dead on your carpet. Let's see how Lane Stock and your precious project survive the headlines. My voice cracked like a whip. Victor's chest heaved, apoplectic, laughter laced with venom. Fine, take your beast and get out of my house. Victor. Father. Lydia and Lucas shouted in protest. Send her to the ER, scars ruin assets, I called over my shoulder. I led Ethan out under a canopy of stairs. Outside, drizzle blurred the lamps, mixing with the tears I couldn't hold back. The downpour thickened, I couldn't tell rain from sobs. Ethan tugged my hem, whimpering, steering me toward the car. I wiped my face, helped him hop in, and soaked beside him. He nuzzled my bleeding arm, crooning until my pulse slowed. Thank you, I whispered. But next time, don't. I'm not worth it. At home I headed straight for the bathroom. Rain could mean a cold for either species. Ethan lolled on the tub floor, belly up, enjoy back in school. Pillow used to wait for me like this every day. See if these fit. If they do, toss them straight in the washer. I shoved the shopping bags at him. Okay. Ethan unboxed the clothes one by one, ears flushing light pink when he reached the underwear. He held them up awkwardly. They should fit. I bought generic sizes, I blurted, worried he'd get the wrong idea. Got it. The spark in his eyes dimmed a notch. Babe, no, Vivian, thank you. It's just clothes. I meant what you said at the Lane estate. Thank you for defending me. His tone turned grave. So you do still care, even a tiny bit. I lowered my gaze. You were the one protecting me, and now you're thanking me. I should be the one saying it. Thank you for walking with me through the loneliest, hardest stretch of my life. Then will you give me another chance to win you back? He asked, cautious. I gave a thin laugh. You saw my situation tonight, are you sure? His warm palm closed around mine. None of that was your fault. I know amnesia makes my words sound weightless, but my heart says I can't lose you. The man I was before the crash, and the man I'll be after, both would do this. I have no idea why we divorced, but every word is true. Tears slipped onto the back of his hand, feelings surged over me like waves slamming the shore. After years of acting, I thought I could throttle any emotion at will. I hate crying in front of people. Even when it hits hard, I bottle it up and open the valve only when I'm alone. But right now the valve is broken. Then wait until your memory returns, tell me the reason, and I'll decide, okay? The second the words left my mouth, my phone rang. Gina. Vivian, check Twitter's trending chart. Are those photos real? The set is already calling. If we don't spin this, you're out. What? I tapped Twitter. The top 3 spots were all me. Vivian buys men's clothing. Vivian caught alone at home with man. Sterling CEO visits Vivian on set. I'd wrapped myself like a mummy. How the hell did they ID me? And I'd been home barely half an hour. How did it explode this fast? Unless someone's been tailing me the whole time. It's messy. I can't explain in 2 sentences, but it's not what it looks like. Question is, how do we make anyone believe that? Gina snapped. First, what is Ethan doing there? I thought you signed the divorce papers days ago. Rival PR teams are already pushing the man-eater angle. If the secret marriage and divorce surface, we're nuked. Vivian, why can't you think straight? She sighed. Hi, Gina. I'm Ethan. The clothes were for me, and I'm the man in her house. Ethan took the phone. I have a fix. Gina squeaked, Sterling, oh, it's you. Far as I know, our divorce papers aren't finalized. Let's void them and go public. Problem solved. He looked at me, grin widening. I actually agree, fastest fix ever. Log in now and post. I'll have the agency push the follow-ups, Gina said. My WhatsApp pinged Ethan had sent a photo, our wedding portrait. My smile looked half-hearted even to me. Why text me our wedding shot? For the announcement. Figured you'd deleted it, he said, zooming in and out. I swallowed. I hadn't saved our bridal photos, too risky with prying eyes, and, honestly, I'd figured the marriage had an expiry date. Fine. I posted the portrait with a handwritten note. Comments turned kinder, but a few knives still flew. Secret marriage, yawn. Fake gossip, disperse. That photo's photoshopped, show the license. Thank God sis finally spoke, was worried sick. Feels like she leveraged the hype to force him. Ethan's thread mirrored the split. Take care of our Vivian, brother-in-law. Bro, blink twice if you're being held hostage. The clothes are dry, drive me home. Ethan broke the quiet. Sure. Any chance you can stay over? He added. My cheeks burned. Huh. Paps might still be around. If they clock us splitting up, fresh scandal. Plus I need help finding our rings and license. Amnesia, remember? They're probably lost, I muttered. I'd tossed my copy in some drawer ages ago. Shadows crossed his eyes. You really have that little faith in us? His lashes drooped. Random joke, I backpedaled. Didn't want you stressed if we can't locate them. His shoulders loosened. We will. Promise. 8. License and rings sat in Ethan's study wall safe. We blew 3 tries before it opened. First, his birthday, my hunch wrong. He humored me, but the beep denied us. Second, he tried mine. Blood whooshed to my heart, still wrong. Last shot, our wedding date. I told him while certain it would fail. When the bolts finally clicked it felt like fireworks inside my skull. Cold metal slid home. He'd already pushed the ring to the base of my finger. Returned to owner, he whispered, capturing me in his pale brown eyes. He flipped the marriage license open and aimed his phone. What are you doing? Proof you're legally my wife, he answered, tapping. Huh. Shutting the trolls up. He handed me the screen. He'd replied to my hater, the license photo, nothing else. The comment rocketed to top spot, replies raining laughter. Oh, he really slapped the license down, careful what you ask for. Dates 10 months back, so much for trap wedding rumors. Hubby doesn't let Wiffy take flack, dying here. Within hours, headlines flipped. Vivian Ethan claps back with license. Their legit married mission accomplished deep into the night. Exhausted yet wired, I tossed and turned. Gina called again. Can't sleep. Not a wink. Then check the chart, something sweet. Apprehensive, I opened Twitter. Top slot blazed a red hot beside Ethan, real deal hubbyfan. 9. I jabbed the tag and landed on an 18-photo forum repost. Headline plot twist, after Vivian's secret marriage bombshell, her biggest solo stan Viv will bloom posts blessings instead of rage. Digging reveals. I knew that handle, she'd cheered for me back when I was bottom rung. We even DM'd a few times in my pre-muzzled Twitter days. I scrolled, pulse pounding. Pick 1, this stan backed Vivian pre-fame, hardcore solo only. We wanted to dig dirt on Ethan so she'd dump him. Instead she reposted their reveal with congrats. She used to leak every guy linked to Vivian, what changed? Pick 2 checked Vivalbloom's profile. Birthdate, IP, all match Ethan's official account. Header is a blurry still from Vivian's first lead role, micro-budget flick even fans barely know. Pick 3 asked why that header, she said it's Vivian's debut frame. Rewatched, cheap costumes, tragic lighting. Pick 4 after reveal, compared header mask silhouette to Ethan, side profile identical. Froze end credits, bam, Mystery Man 3, Ethan. My vision blurred, tears soaked the pillow. For the first time in my life I didn't have the guts to read a leak about myself. From the day I debuted, dirty water has been splashed on me more times than I can count, but I've never been afraid. I used to scroll through those so-called scandal leaks with perfect composure. I always told myself I had a clear conscience, but tonight I realize how much I owe Ethan. The ID Vivalbloom feels familiar. Back when my Twitter following was still tiny, I used to post bleak, defeated thoughts, and every single time he comforted me first. I still remember the wording of every DM. But as the years slipped by, my account stopped feeling like mine. The flood of new fans swallowed his messages, and the only thing I could do was let my auto-reply answer him. My fingers trembled as I tapped to the next image, screenshots of comments. ***, no meat please ***. I know that ID by heart, always camping in Vivian's comment section. Dude basically lives on her page. ***, Dolores adventure ***, same. And every reply starts with babe. Turns out the guy really was calling his actual babe. ***, real goss ***, Vivian's PR is working overtime today, even the leak forums are flooded. Bet the profile was only edited this morning, she's probably been astroturfing the whole time. ***, OP ***, replied to ***, real goss ***, nope. I talked to Vivalbloom ages ago, and judging by our old chats Ethan was a total simp, no offense. Details further down. ***, OP ***, before anyone cries paid promo, relax. I stan Vivian, but I know this is a gossip board. Below are my earlier DMs with Vivalbloom. He said he missed the days when Vivian still answered DMs herself, proof she had no clue Ethan ran the alt. On their wedding registration day he even retweeted a still from her new drama with the caption, "Got married today, late to the party." Most important, Viv stans have a group chat. Whenever someone does a set visit they share stories. Once a fan posted that she saw Vivian getting iced out by another actress. Vivalbloom kept asking for specifics. A few days later that actress got hit with a huge scandal leak and was abruptly recast, dropped from A-list to oblivion. I looked up the drama, Sterling Group pumped major money into it right after. That happened 3 years ago. If the account was Vivian's own, why would Sterling invest? And if Ethan knew her then, why show up on set for the first time only 2 days ago? Every year we fans send Vivian birthday gifts. Vivalbloom never shows, always asks me to hand them over for him and pretend they're from me. Chat logs and gift pics below. Extra, when Vivian and Felix were being shipped, Vivalbloom DM'd me repeatedly asking if it was real. His Twitter those weeks was all sad love songs, basically a heartbroken puppy. No way Vivian staged that herself. By the time I finished the 18th image I felt like I'd swallowed straight lime juice, bitter, sour, heart-wrenching. Turns out he's been protecting me the entire time. Openly he cheered me on. As I rose he disappeared into the crowd, shielding me from storms I never saw. I scrolled to the replies, mostly envy. God, send me an Ethan. This is straight out of a novel. Went to search the ID and I'm crying. Screenshotting before the thread gets 404 foot D. Is this perfect? And I only just found out. Without thinking I wiped the tears away and hurried to Ethan's room. The door was ajar, he was on the phone. Pull the trending chart now, and nuke that forum post too. We can't wait, if Vivian sees she'll be upset. She doesn't like me like this. Through the crack I saw his hesitant, conflicted face. I drew a breath and knocked. He said, later, into the phone. Vivian. It's late. Something wrong? His eyes flickered, avoiding mine. I saw the hashtag and the post. For years I wondered who Vivwellbloom was. I never guessed it was you. Never imagined everything you've quietly done. Tears welled again. I thought ours was a business marriage, mutual disgust, destined to split, someone I'd eventually forget. But you're woven through every chapter of my life. No matter what, I run into you. Ethan, I'm just a passerby in your story. Why waste so much time on me? The best way to save someone drowning in darkness is to give her light, but that light breeds attachment. Whether Ethan regains his memories is uncertain. Maybe once he does he'll no longer love me. Still, I need to lay my heart bare. That's not it, he said, guiding my hand to his chest. Heartbeats don't lie, Vivian. I can't remember everything, but my notes, they show me the days I spent beside you. All of it proves my love was real. His eyes curved in a smile so full of happiness it almost overflowed. I tilted my head and kissed him. After countless on-screen kisses under spotlights, I'd never felt shy until tonight. Maybe because this was my first kiss that belonged to me, not to any character, only to Vivian. Xiao Hu bot, anti-piracy watermark, steady reliable. The instant he pulled me into his arms, warm liquid dripped onto my face. I thought it was tears until I opened my eyes and saw blood streaming from his nose. Ethan's face was terrifyingly pale. When we parted, he slumped onto the bed. Ethan, what's happening? I grabbed his hand. Vivian, His fingers slackened, gaze unfocused. 10. The ambulance siren sliced through the silent night. I waited outside the OR until dawn. His operation went smoothly. The doctor said he'd wake once the anesthesia wore off and would probably regain his memories. I sat by the bed, so nervous I eventually dozed off. When I opened my eyes, he was awake, propped up, looking down at me. I remember everything. The doctor's words echoed. I jumped up. Sterling, I'm sorry, it's my fault you didn't rest properly after surgery. And now, Vivian, he interrupted with a smile, pressing a finger to my lips, that's not what I meant. I recalled why I divorced you. I thought you never loved this marriage, and I didn't want to watch you forced to deal with the Lane estate any longer. As for demanding the engagement ring back. He paused, enunciating every word. I wanted to keep something of yours forever. My head snapped up. That reason never crossed my mind. He reached for my hand. Seems amnesia me was an idiot who spilled all the secrets. I'm the one who should apologize for scaring you these past days. Not at all, I whispered. Then, do you remember what happened after you lost your memory? He curled his lips mysteriously and drew me into his arms, breath hot against my ear. Every bit, especially last night's kiss. Beautiful. I bit my lip and looked away, cheeks burning. Oh, and kill the cooperation with Lane. Don't consider me. I suddenly recalled Victor's threat. Now that our divorce agreement was void, he'd surely try to rope Ethan back in. I was about to bring that up. Before the crash, I'd already compiled evidence of everything the Lanes did to you, including how their adoption had ulterior motives and how they exploited you. If this drops, even Victor's blackmail photos won't smear you. Lane reputation will tank. If you want to take them down, I've got your back. Every sentence was framed from my standpoint. He never once mentioned Sterling's interests. His always put me first. I hugged him, fighting tears. Thank you, Ethan. Victor won't cut off his nose to spite his face. With the evidence in my hands, he won't move rashly for now. We've lost enough time. I want to spend what's left with you, not wrestling demons. Really? He asked, delighted. Really? I nodded, tears slipping. First order of business, update the Slowball Meow Meow account. I want a new drop tonight. He picked up his phone with pretend sorrow. So I'm just free labor, freshly out of surgery. I laughed, snatching the phone. Kidding. Who told you to hide behind a furzona all this time? Before I finished, he landed a featherlight kiss on my lips. Meow meow mom, enslaving a puppy requires payment. Consider this advance interest. You. That evening Slowbowl Meow Meow posted a fresh panel on Twitter. The cat finally finds the dog, leans in to kiss him, and their tails twine into a heart. Caption: She finally sees me. I don't think we'll ever be apart again. The end.